All right. Starting off with motherfucking Alex Jones, okay?
Talk radio host and conspiracy theory.
We're waiting on additional damages, but here's what happened to Alex Jones. At this point, you know exactly what happened to Alex Jones because I've been covering it for the past 3 days. I think it's the funniest story. We have been smoking on that Alex Jones pack for the past 3 days. Now, I'm going to try to parse through the legal jargon. Okay. Originally, Alex Jones lost a defamation suit against the Sandy Hook parents. This trial that we've been watching is specifically for awards, compensation for the victims. Now, there's two different types of awards that you get in a civil suit like this. You have the punitive damages, and you have another type of damage that's like the punitive damages are multipliers, basically. Yesterday's revelation on the awards that Alex Jones, on what compensatory and punitive, right? Yesterday's damages that we found out were compensatory. Am I saying that right? I don't fucking know if I'm saying that right. Doesn't matter. But the compensatory verdict was given yesterday. Okay, obviously it varies state by state. Some states will add on like a max cap. Some states will say you can only go up to 10x of the compensatory damages as far as like the punitive damages goes. So you get two different types of payout in a situation like this. Okay, the compensatory damages is basically a direct compensation to the victims for all of the emotional damage or all of the fucking struggles that they had to go through, the hardships that they had to withstand, right? Like in Alex Jones's case, this one individual family that sued him is suing him specifically because they had to like switch homes. They were stalked non-fucking stop. You know what I mean? So there's a lot going on there. Okay. Now, with respect to Alex Jones's case, here's Pope Hat. Who will reveal more information here. The compensatory verdict in the Alex Jones case is a few $1 million. I was told there would be no math, not the $150 million that was requested. So originally they requested $150 million. That's a big payout. I think they deserve it. But of course, that $150 million is, I think, compensatory and also the punitive together. Now, the ultimate number that they arrived at is $4.1 million. The function of compensatory damage is to compensate, not punish. So now you have the secondary, the punitive damages that are supposed to come out today. So $1 million in compensatory damages for harm that is primarily emotional distress is actually pretty high and likely appropriate. Now on the punitive phase, notes on that. Punitive damages, like it says in the name, are to punish. Okay, but there are constitutional limits to punitive damages. Two factors control the defendant's assets and the multiplier of punitive damages to compensatory damages. So some states allow you to go all the way up to 10x. I think Texas only allows you to go up to like 5x or something. I'm not entirely certain on the extra details. I'm just trying to give you a ballpark here. So there is definitely that as well. There's that reality there as well. There's also an additional hurdle here. Alex Jones went into bankruptcy court and is currently undergoing bankruptcy proceedings, specifically so that he could halve his assets, as he also personally mentioned, and make himself seem like he is a lot more poor than he actually is. This is just for one parent, by the way. Yes, I know. This is just for one parent. I know, one family. As to the assets, the punitive award can't reach an excessive percentage of the defendant's net worth. What percentage? Ask a Texas lawyer. In California, is generally not supposed to exceed 10%. Also, the net worth on top of that can be massaged, as Alex Jones has done already, right? And is that illegal? Well, it's immoral, but everything Alex Jones has done is immoral, so who the fuck cares? And also, our legal... our laws, our legal system, and our criminal justice system, and even our civil litigation system specifically revolves around defending the wealthy and defending their assets and sheltering them as adequately as possible. In situations like this, So of course, technically, it's this is the way that the system is designed. So Alex Jones is taking advantage of that because he's a piece of shit. That's not surprising. Remember, he's literally in a court case specifically for defaming the parents of Sandy Hook victims, like parents whose children were fucking murdered in a school shooting, and he just shamelessly said it was fake and sent the most psychotic wingnuts, right-wing nut jobs up these parents' asses for years on end, including people shooting at their cars and shooting at their homes and shit. So, he is also a complete and total utter piece of shit, okay? As we have seen through the court case, even in the awards trial, he literally, in a defamation suit that he lost, during the awards trial, when the proceedings were ongoing, he refused to show up to court, said he had a medical reason for not showing up to court, and then fucking turned around and defamed the judge, claiming that the judge was a pedophile. So, As to the compensatory to punitives ratio, Texas seemed to follow the general trend that the ratio has to be single digit, maybe low single digit in most cases. Here's an example of the elaborate analysis of whether the ratio is excessive. You might get away with a higher ratio if compensatory damages are very small for some reason and the conduct is very bad. But when you have a big compensatory verdict, it's going to be very hard to get it way more than 9-1 and challenging above 5-1. So if I'm right that the compensatory damages are around $4 million, don't expect punitive damages award above, say, $36 million to be upheld by appellate courts. Was the plaintiff's $150 million ask ever plausible? Not really. That would require super high compensatory damages, and jurors don't actually hand out big bucks like that. That's the other thing. There were 12 jurors. 2 of them did not sign off on it. Did they not sign off on it because they were fucking info warriors and thought Alex Jones deserves to pay $0 because he's a brave truth teller? Or did they refuse to sign off on it because they decided to, did they refuse to sign off on it because they thought he deserved, the parents deserve more? Okay? Pen is all you need anyway, though. Plus, there may be some other Texas statutory limits on punitive damages. I will let Texas lawyers chime in on those. As Mitch suggests, in addition to Texas having low cap on punitive damages, it requires the jury to be unanimous, and they weren't on compensatory damages. Of course, maybe 2 holdouts wanted to award $100 million, but I don't read juror. This is more of a comment than a question, and it's about Christopher Hitchens in that way. So, bro, what the fuck is wrong with him that he thought defaming the judge on a defamation case was a good idea? He didn't just defame the judge and call her, infer that she was a pedophile. He also used footage of like her face on fire, basically, to promote his news coverage. Okay? And not only that, but also he called the jurors stupid too. So he literally said the jurors, the people who are directly responsible for figuring out exactly how much money he has to pay, he said they were like dumb. So yeah, let's see what he is.
Alex Jones has been ordered to pay more than $4 million to the parents of a 6-year-old boy who was killed in the Sandy Hook massacre. This follows the dramatic trial where Jones admitted that the massacre happened after years of telling his listeners.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he's mentally ill. I mean, if you ask Alex Jones, he has said that he's a little bit of silly Billy himself on numerous occasions. So we'll see.
As Nancy Chin reports, that's only part of what he may eventually have to pay.
I will accept this as a verdict of the jury.
Marking the first time Alex Jones will be held financially responsible for repeatedly claiming the 2012 Sandy Hook shooting was a hoax. The radio show host must pay more than $4 million to Neil Heslin and Scarlett Lewis, the parents of Jesse Lewis, a 6-year-old who died in the massacre.
Jesse was real. I am a real mom.
The verdict comes after the parents this week recounted years of harassment from Jones's followers.
I can't even describe the last 9.5 years of the living hell that I and others have had to endure.
In Jones' own testimony Wednesday, he conceded under oath the shooting actually happened.
It's 100% real.
And was caught off guard when lawyers for the family said Jones's attorneys had mistakenly shared years' worth of his texts that showed he withheld evidence.
I mean, if I was mistaken, but you got the messages right there.
After the verdict,
he called it a oopsie moment, which his lawyers also had one of those. There's a lot of oopsie moments in the Alex Jones saga. On the first hand, he's like, oh, it was an honest mistake. Who amongst us, ladies and gentlemen of this jury, who amongst us is not went on a mass harassment campaign against victims of a mass shooting, a school shooting? I mean, who hasn't done that? That's like a Monday for me, which is precisely why I also continued to defame the judge, proceeding over the case and call her a pedophile. But that was another Monday. You know what I mean? It's just like, oh, I got a case of the scaries on Sunday, and then this is how I act out on Monday, folks. Sometimes I black out, and words just come out of my mouth. Okay. So you're leaving out the demon part a lot. This is true. I apologize, Seal Puncher, and to the brave info warriors in this community. He also called her a goblin witch and a demon pedophile too. Yeah. So you know how it is. It's just January 6th. Also another case of the Sunday scaries came in, kicked in. All of a sudden, before you know it, I'm telling everybody to storm the Capitol. Okay, you know how it works.
Jones released a video claiming the reduced amount as a victory.
What I did to those families was wrong, but I didn't do it on purpose.
But the family's lawyer said,
again, another oopsie moment,
that this was only part of what Jones will have to pay, as the jury still has to decide on punitive damages.
It's a win for the Sandy Hook families, and it's a win for truth and justice.
Civil rights attorney Alexander Tobbs said this sets a precedent for other cases against Jones.
It sends a message that,
yeah, it's only taken like 10 fucking years for the Sandy Hook families to finally successfully sue a weapons manufacturer for their culpability in mass shootings. It only took like 10 fucking years for them to be able to successfully sue a guy who was harassing them for that entire time frame. It's wonderful. I love the American legal proceedings. You know what I mean? It's great. It's just like, hey, if you have a lot of money or if you have a lot of time, if you're finally fucking fed up and you spend 10 years of your life, then maybe you'll be able to get a little bit, just a modicum of your life back, you know, and maybe an apology. So that's fire. Can't have the fair trial you're legally entitled to if you actively prejudice all the neutral observers. I think at that point, it's like, you can't do anything about that. Pecker Protector Soheeb, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Yeah, this is great. This is a wonderful, wonderful situation.
there is a cost, there is a price to lying about people in the public sphere.
And the jury will return today to hear evidence about Jones's finances for its decision on any punitive damages due to Heslin and Lewis. Jones does face more lawsuits in Texas.
So there's more lawsuits that can come out of this, obviously, given the decision and how it goes. And we're going to talk about we're also going to talk about like what the expert witnesses have testified in court earlier today, a couple hours ago, on what Alex Jones's net worth is, because they have to make estimates on it now in order to make sure that the punitive damages are proper, they're appropriate. This has to be done regardless of the bankruptcy regardless of the bankruptcy court that he's going to go through. Don't know exactly what the cap is for it, but yeah, that's where we're at. But listen, you don't have to drain your bank account like Alex Jones is about to in order to avoid the top of the hour ad break, because at the top of the hour, there's a 60-second ad break. And if you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is pay $5 a month in the form of a Twitch subscription. Or if you don't even have $5, all you need to do is, get a free subscription in the form of a Twitch Prime. That's right. By connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, you get 1 free Prime subscription a month. You can use it on your favorite streamer. Happy 4 years. Can I get a welcome to the jungle XQCL for all times? What's up, Lake McGroove, one of my oldest subs, 48-month subscriber. That's right. Fucking 4 years, dude. That's crazy. Aloha from Maui, Pecker Protector, Sohaib, and Marjora's 94, thank you for the 10 gifted. Ray Donnell, thank you for the 5. Anila, thank you for the 5. Allowing all those people to no longer see the ads. That's one other way that you can also avoid the fucking hour, top of the hour ad breaks. Here's the 1 minute ad break now. Ray Donnell, thank you for the 5 gifted as well. Old heads, rise up. I've been following since 2014. How come no gift subs? Says Afro Black Sicano. It's really cool that you say that. I can see when you started following here. And also, I was not on this platform in 2014. Okay. Hasan is so close to 1 million YouTube subs. Holy shit. Yeah, I know. All right. So let's dive a little bit deeper into this. Okay, here is Anna Merlan, who's been following the Alex Jones court case closely. She's a senior staff writer at Vice. So here are some guesstimates on how much money Alex Jones is actually making. Okay. I want to make it clear I'm watching the live stream. Live stream just clicked, which tends. Jury has been brought in. We're about to hear the forensic economist, Bernard Pettingill, horrific DPS. Thank you for the 5 gifted. A forensic economist is going to look at, Alex Jones's assets and try to analyze what it is. Let's take a look. Pettingill says his role in the case is to value Alex Jones's companies and his net worth. On InfoWars, meanwhile, Jones is showing a clip of the courtroom scene from the movie Idiocracy as a commentary on, the actual courtroom proceedings on his financial assets. Pettingill says Jones is the manager or agent for about 9 private companies that he could track, meaning companies that aren't publicly traded. It's hard to figure out how to value private companies because so much less info about them is available, which is why he's here. Remember that Alex Jones is already using every trick in the book, considering that he's a 100 millionaire. Of course, he's going to take advantage of America's incredible, vast array of corporate structure to hide his assets, shelter his income, create a bunch of different safeguards basically for himself. That is, of course, if he hasn't already parked his assets somewhere else as well. But part of the reason why Americans don't really park their assets overseas is because America internally allows such assets to be hidden domestically. So you don't really need to send them off to the Caymans in the way that we think people do. Okay, so. We're going to talk about the IRA and Kirsten Sinema in a little bit. Okay, Pettingill used a spreadsheet to track his funds information and money that trickled in from September 2015 to December 2018. And it averages out, by the way, from September 2015 to December 2018, his yearly revenue averages out to $53 million a year. In testimony, Pettingill adds, Jones said he could do $70 million, and there's also been a nice, healthy increase since 2018. Because once Alex Jones was banned, deplatformed, or whatever, but because he was like Trump's very own loyal soldier, he still fucking popped off. But Jones has also been paying himself a salary of about $18 million over a 3-year period, roughly $6 million a year. So this is a good starting point to value free speech systems. So free speech systems, ironically named that, is the umbrella corporation that is basically like a holding firm for Alex Jones's subsidiary corporations that he's created. Okay. Pettingill also tried to position Jones's companies in a standard industrial classification code, taking into account all the stuff he sells and all the ways he makes his money. We can't really put a finger on what Jones does for a living, Pettingill says, calling him a maverick like Genghis Khan. This got weird fast. Basically, he's saying that Jones is hard to classify in precise economic terms. Okay? He says he didn't ride a wave, he created a wave. He's a very successful guy. Pettingill says Jones also set up other companies that benefited him internally, like Jones Productions, Joanne's Report LLC, Prison Planet TV LLC, Planet InfoWars LLC, InfoWars Health, PLJR Holdings, and AEJ Austin Holdings LLC. PQPR Holdings is another one which works in conjunction with Free Speech Systems and InfoWars. The Sandy Hook families have also accused them of basically using it to funnel money out of FSS, free speech system. So he's like taking revenue generated on one LLC and putting it to another LLC in an effort that, like, when he inevitably gets sued, he doesn't have so many assets that like he won't get punished on, right? And it's basically how the Purdue family, how the Sackler family got away with separating themselves from Purdue Pharmaceutical in the OxyContin federal criminal trial that went on, is regardless of their direct involvement. Okay? Like, the Sackler family literally was able to get away with sheltering billions of dollars in assets as their personal wealth, and then having Purdue Pharmaceutical shoulder most of the fucking costs, because they were able to judge shop and find one judge that was favorable to them that would allow them to do that. Rich people do shit like this all the time, and that's how they did that. Because America, okay? That's America, baby. Let's continue. Pettingill is getting into what PQPR means. We've got our first use of the term shell company, which will be relevant. The numbers don't add up, Pettingill says, partly because Jones's side didn't turn over what they needed for discovery, so we had to piece things together. 2 notes signed that benefited Jones for years, 2 loans for $53 million total, with very low interest on payback. So Jones had to pay back a 30-year loan intermittently over time. FSS, Free Speech Systems, started to pay it back for $11,000 a day, but didn't keep it up. As a result, on the books, AJ is carrying a gigantic $53 million loan when in reality, he's using it as a clawback to pay himself back. The org is titled an inverted T, where everything flows to Alex Jones, and Pettingill says Jones knows where the money is. One of these notes matures when Alex Jones is 74 years old. So I don't know if that is personally allowed. Wait, why are people saying XQC sussy? Did I say something about XQC? What is happening? Anyway, stop being weird. Oh my God. My community is like brain broken babies. Okay. As I was stating, so what's going on here is from what I understand, and this is not 100% correct information. Like, I can't tell you with 100% certainty. You yourself are kind of a brain broken baby, Lamau. That's true. Here, take 7 days off for that. Okay. Anyway, here's what I was saying before I got interrupted. So, what's going on here is, from what I understand, Alex Jones is generating revenue, okay? He's generating revenue. He has supplements that he's selling. He has, AM radio contracts that he gets probably as well. He has revenue that he generates on his website where he's like, getting CPMs, but that's probably low, even though he does have millions of fucking clicks on his website. But most of the money that he's getting is from all of his merchandising and all of his supplements that he's selling, right? All the pills that he sells, all this other shit that he sells, right? That's where it's coming from. See, Economist reveals Alex Jones' net worth. Here, we should just watch it, honestly.
Berkshire
Here.
Hathaway, which is a financial. If you dissect that and you say it's roughly $6 million a year, and you add that to the 50